Welcome everybody to the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card reading. Today's pick a card reading is looking at what archangels and other angels or other beings from the celestial realms have a blessing for you and what it is and why. Before I go into the pile choice and talk a bit about the archangels here that represent part of that choice, I did want to make a brief sort of announcement or request really to those who are regular viewers and subscribers to the channel. So if you just first sort of stumbled upon the channel now and you want to go straight to the pick a pile part of it, or if you're in a hurry, that's perfectly fine too. In the timestamps there will be a jump after this announcement or a request. But I would ask anybody who can listen to do so if you're a regular subscriber or viewer and you would like to help support the channel, because it's just something that I've noticed. So I'm just going to give the announcement now, and as I say, the timestamps will be for going to the pick a pile version. Recently I've been researching a lot, I guess, about the YouTube algorithm, looking into the experience of some of my sort of fellow creators, particularly in the sort of tarot area, but more generally and so forth, and hearing a lot of people go through similar things to what I'm experiencing at the moment. And I think that this is probably an aspect of an algorithm for YouTube that is so vast and in many ways quite astoundingly amazing, but is vast and therefore could have glitches, could have sort of strange sort of circumstances or the law of unintended consequences sometimes. But the experience that I'm having is that even though my engagement and the return of you wonderful viewers, this wonderful community that we're building is probably increasing, and all the metrics should be showing that that's the case, the exact opposite is happening, and the reach of my videos are less than it used to be and so forth. And I'm not alone in this, I know. So what people have said they've experienced, and I'm starting to think, looking at things like my sub counts and things like that, I'm experiencing it as well, is that sometimes people get unsubscribed for no particular reason. So, and that a lot of people talk about that. I know people who've said they've been unsubscribed from my channel and, they didn't do it. And I know of that happening with others. Sometimes, the sort of the connection of the views to the sort of outreach sort of dims to some degree. Sometimes people aren't even knowing that I'm posting. I've had a few messages recently and comments along the lines of, I've been missing your readings, as though they haven't been coming out. Now, in some cases, that could be just that the person has been busy, but equally, it's possible that they're not getting the notifications and so forth as well. And I have not only been regular, but possibly been doing more readings than I had done sort of earlier, with doing sort of 2 days on, 2 days off. So I do feel that the algorithm is glitching a bit in my case, and as I say, I'm certainly not alone with that. There's not a lot that can be done about it, except that if you want to support the channel and you want to make sure that you don't miss out on anything, then could I ask you to semi-regularly check you're still subscribed? And if you get unsubscribed, please let me know, because that would at least confirm some of that further than the few cases I know of. But equally, maybe press the notification button, because it just might be more a thing around that. And so if you're not getting notified, you don't know, and therefore in the first 12 to 24 hours of a video, the views aren't as high as they would otherwise be, that slows everything down. And it's just the way the algorithm works. So it's all very impersonal, but that's the way that it impacts it. And for me, if that kept going for any length of time, the channel almost starts to die, and you start to wonder whether you're even reaching your community at all. So I don't want that to happen. I love doing the readings for you. I love the wonderful engagement from those who regularly communicate in the comments. It's just beautiful, and I really want to make sure that's supported. But there's not a lot I can do about that side of it. So if you would like to support the channel, if you could do that, that would be wonderful. And at least it would mean that you don't miss out on anything. I don't expect any of you to watch every single video I do, because the nature of these videos are such that you need to feel drawn to the question, the issue, to one of the piles, all of that sort of stuff. I get that absolutely. But I would just hate that you were missing out, and I would hate that the channel sort of slowly winds backwards, as it has been doing a little bit in terms of growth for some time now. If it's just because of sort of algorithmic glitches that we could do something about. So I thank you for your time in listening to this. I sincerely just want to make sure that I'm still getting these out to the people who would enjoy them and would get benefit from them. But it's possible, without you even knowing it, that you may not be seeing when they're being uploaded. You may be not even seeing, that I'm doing any at all for a while, and yet I'm being consistent and I'm bringing them out. So if you could do that, and if you really like the content and you think others would be able to benefit from it and you'd like to help share it, then by all means please share it on your social media and so forth if you think people could benefit. So thank you for your time, but I just wanted to say that because it has been worrying me a little bit, and so it would be important, I think, for me to pass that on so that you know that. Okay, so I'm now going to the pile choice part of the timestamps. So as I said right at the beginning, this is about what Archangel blessings are coming, or you're going to receive or coming to you at the moment. So I'll put down the numbers for the piles. You're certainly welcome to go to more than one reading if you feel drawn to them. The Archangels here, I shuffled the deck, the Archangel Fire Oracle deck, and I asked Spirit to give me 3 Archangels that would like to bring blessings to the collective groups of each pile here. So that is the Archangel we'll be talking about, but there are also going to be some other angels from the Angel Tarot, and we'll be then looking with a more, with Lunar Light Tarot, Lunar Light Angel Tarot, about a little bit more detail about it, and other sorts of decks around other celestial and spiritual and also 3D type of elements of these blessings. So for pile number 1, we have the Archangel Chamuel. For pile number 2, we have the Archangel Metatron. And for pile number 3, we have the Archangel Melchizedek. So 3 pretty hard-hitting archangels there right out from the gate. So if that is how you choose, that's great. It might be by the number, or you may, as I say, want to go to more than one reading. So whatever works for you, the timestamps are in the description box below, and when you're ready, I'll see you there. Welcome, pile 1, to your reading. So we have Chamuel, as I said, and that may well have been what drew you to your reading. We also have from the Angel Tarot 3 of the Shem angels, so other angels from the sort of angelic and celestial realms, that in combination between what they are and what they represent, and also what these particular cards represent as tarot, we can get a feeling about what the blessing is for you at the moment. The overarching blessing, beyond anything else, is around love in some form with Chamuel. It's probably not surprising when you see the sort of pink sort of tones that can connect just like green does. Pink also connects to the heart chakra. So Chamuel is here to bring you love. It can be that fluttery butterfly feeling that you have when you meet someone and there's an attraction, but it could also be other types of love. It could be healing after a difficult love relationship, so making you feel that you can feel those sort of emotions again and feel connected. I'm just opening a blind a little bit more to get a little bit more light, if you're wondering what that noise was. But certainly she is here to bring that in some form. And if it's not romantic love, if you're already happy and romantically engaged in your partnership, then it could be love for other things, creative projects, children, friends, family. But the blessing is around love. Now, the 3 other angels here, if we first of all actually look at the nature of the cards we're talking about. So we've got the Sun, the 7 of Swords, and the Wheel of Fortune. That suggests to me that part of this blessing about love is your life path. So for anybody who's just met someone, or who has a sense of love coming in, or even on a 5D level is starting to dream about someone, you could be actually about to embark on, or have just met someone who is very important, like a soul twin or a twin flame or something like that. There's certainly a sense that the love is bringing light and joy to your life, or is meant to do that, possibly after a period of time where you felt like you had to negotiate for who you were in the world and how you would be loved. But the Wheel of Fortune very much suggests that your time is coming. So if you have felt alone and not understood or not able to find the right love, then your life path that you're following is now going to bring this in, and you are going to be in a good position, in a sense, almost to negotiate what that looks like. If you have had difficulties around a love relationship and finding time with the person, or trying to even work out if there are differences between you about your philosophy, your lifestyle, that kind of thing, there is a shift coming that is a much happier and brighter shift. So there is a true blessing here around love. And as I say, if it isn't a romantic love, it could be, with a family member, it could be with a friend, there could be a reconciliation on some level. but it's certainly in that area. The other angels along with Shamael for you, first, and I may not pronounce these correctly, so apologies to anyone who is better at pronunciation than me, but we have Mahiel, and this is the vivifying God. So this is about bringing life and energy. That is what this angel is about. And it talks about restoration of life, protection from adversaries, rabies and wild beasts. So I doubt most of you have to deal with rabies and wild beasts, but certainly if you are in some sort of occupation that is with that, I'm sure you've taken the vaccinations you need to deal with those sort of latter things. But this is a sense, I think, that if any of you have had difficulty around love and opening your heart because you've been in a difficult environment that you had to be careful what you said and did, which could have been the case with the Seven of Swords, Mahiel here will be bringing you protection around that so that you can move into your own sort of fortune and bring this into being. With the Seven of Swords, we have Manakel, and this is God nurturing and maintaining everything. This is talking about knowledge of good and evil, appeases divine anger, and cures epilepsy. So remember, these are quite ancient, so some of this is not going to be direct. But it certainly will be sort of saying to you that if you have had to negotiate difficult circumstances around a relationship, if, for instance, you fell in love with someone your family didn't necessarily approve of, or your friends didn't necessarily approve of, Manakel will be helping you negotiate all of that. And then you have Metatron. Now, one of the things I very strongly felt when I put this out is that one of the angels or archangels that was in the original choice was Metatron. So if any, I think that was for pile 2. So if any of you, yes, it was. If any of you are drawn also a bit to pile 2, I think this would be a very strong sign that there may be a second blessing for you there, because Metatron is wanting to sort of like pop up here as well. Metatron is called the recording angel. I often talk about him as being like the scribe of God. So he is someone who records what is going on. He's very much part of writing your own narrative and so forth. So again, with the sun, your narrative, your life form, your love, it's your time to negotiate that, and you should be successful. He watches over advancement and progress. He teaches, guides, and records events in the book of life. So this, between these two, with the sun, which is like the life path, and the Wheel of Fortune with Metatron, there is something very significant about whatever this love energy and this love blessing is. So I do feel for anybody who's felt alone or a little bit like a stranger in a strange land around the people that they've been mixing with, you're going to find your people more, I would say, soon. And for anybody, as I say, who's just met someone, it's a very strong indication that this is a powerful and important relationship. Okay, so let's have a look at tarot and let's see how this blessing is most going to manifest, and then what will be expected of you as a result of this blessing from the Archangel realm. So firstly, how is it going to manifest in your life? Okay, so firstly, it's really lovely. I mean, the first two cards, you couldn't get much better than that when you're talking about something with love. We have the 10 of Cups, so happy, long-lasting relationship. If this, as I say, if this is about anything that needs to be reconciled or family, it will be fixed. It will go into a happier way. If this is a new love, it's a very important and long-lasting love. If it is a love of you for a child, or you are young and it's for your parent, there is certainly a very strong sense of nurturing within this energy. It's a growing, beautiful love and if you are looking to expand your family in some way and become a parent, is a very strong sign of the sort of love and energy between you and your partner, bringing that in and making that happen. So whatever the level of love is, has a long-standing sense to it. It's very happy and it's very nurturing and it's very growth-oriented. It has you coming out of a sense of being alone. I think the greater majority of people who've come here, it will be a new romantic love if you've been not with someone for a while, I would say. But, for some of you, it might be also that something in your work or something in your life more generally had you a little bit cloistered away and a little bit alone. This is all about bringing you out of that energy. But it's also about shifting an attitude you might have about relationships or about yourself in relationships and love. There is an opportunity now to have a renewal of what you believe about love, and so this, and to not be so alone, not be so cloistered. So there's a real opportunity now to, if you have thought, I'm not for a relationship, or I couldn't be in a family, or that's passed me by, or I'm career oriented, or whatever it is. This is an opportunity for you to think differently. And this is the one thing I think that the angels are asking you to do, to not get stuck in old thought patterns, because you look a little bit hesitant to do it, but I feel like something's coming that's going to shift you out of that anyway. So what are you expected to do, or what is expected of you as a return, in a sense, on the Archangel, investment in you with this blessing? Okay. I'm going to read this first as being a new love, because I think for a lot of you this is what it is, but I will then talk about what else it could be. This is definitely reiterating with the Ten of Swords reversed. What the main thing that is expected of you is not to catastrophize and think this can't be. This really does feel like many of you have given up on love, or you felt like that's not going to be for you, or your last love was really difficult, or you even had a breakup of a very long-term love and you're just like, oh, how could I even let something new in? But that energy is meant to dissipate. You're meant to move forward with the Six of Swords here in a more peaceful way, and to understand this is part of your life path. You are actually meant to be happy and in love. You're not meant to be alone. And as I say, if it's not romantic love, then you're meant to have a happy family around you. You're meant to have happy friendships. But something, whatever made you kind of almost give up on it, and have your philosophy like, I'll stand alone, you're being asked to let go of that, to move forward. You're also being asked not to take decisions too quickly, not to jump to conclusions. It looks like this person who will come in, whether it's sort of someone coming back, as I say, for some sort of reconciliation, whether it's somebody new, which I think for most of you it probably is a new love, whether it's someone in your family, whatever it is, it looks like things need to be taken step by step. With the Tower reversed, it could be an ex, with the Tower reversed actually, a chance to restructure and rebuild from something that didn't work last time. But it could also be someone who is a bit like you and who is also a bit wary about this, who would find rushing into a relationship a bit overwhelming. There's a lot of passion, but they keep it a little bit under regulation, because I feel like they've gone through something similar. Or, as I say, it might be an ex and it's step by step. So you're being asked not to rush to decisions, and not to default to old patterns, but to have an open mind, move forward and take it step by step, because there is a huge benefit in all of this. Things are getting better, but you may not feel it at the beginning, because you may just have been burnt so many times that it's scary to even do it. And it may be that the person concerned is a little bit equivocal too sometimes, or a little bit hard to read, but it's just because they need to take it step by step as well too. But I feel that the connection is really intense, and that's why it kind of triggers both of you. If it's a love relationship, if it's friendship or something else, then there's a little bit of repair work to do, or a little bit of softly about it. That's the kind of energy that the Archangels are asking you to do, so that you can maximize the blessing. So under Chamail also were cards from the Heart Code Oracles. So the Heart Code Oracles have different energies around different aspects of life. So we've got career, relationship, wellness and lifestyle here. So these were shuffled and intuitively chosen to go with the energy of this. So this is in the various aspects of your 3D life that could be impacted by an Archangel blessing of love. So career, we have reduction. This suggests to me that one of the things you're going to have to think about is how you manage. You might have been quite a bit of a workaholic or something like that, because you'd almost like X'd out love from your life. Or if it's around family and it's about reconnecting with your family, it might be about work-life balance. Doesn't mean that you have to, stop your ambitions. It doesn't mean that you have to stop working, but it does mean maybe have a think about the balance of things so that you can get this full blessing. For relationships, we have authentic. Yeah, just be authentic in yourself. That's all that's really required, because the sun was there in the Wheel of Fortune, and your own open heart. So don't sort of feel like you have to shift anything for this. You just take it a little bit step by step, softly. But as long as you're authentic, you'll get that authentic energy coming back to you. And I think it's also saying this is the real deal if it's a relationship. It really is. Around wellness, around how you sort of can best sort of physically or emotionally benefit from this, we have mindful. Yeah, be mindful. Be mindful of what you're programming is, what you've come to believe from earlier relationships, whatever it is that the archangels are asking you to reconsider so that you can move forward, and take it step by step. It doesn't have to be rushed. Understand where the other person is coming from, and then lifestyle, solution. Yeah, this is meant to happen. This is a true blessing coming through for you, which is what we were asking for. But it's very, very clear that there is a blessing here for you about love, and it's meant to actually bring you to a greater degree of happiness and so forth. But I do think you may need to focus a bit more on the heart and relationships than maybe on career for a period of time, so that you can allow this energy to fully grow. Okay, so that's the 3D benefit of this. Let's have a look at the 5D benefits. So a couple of decks to have a look at spiritual benefits that can come to you from this blessing from Archangel Shamael, or Chamiel, however you pronounce it. So these are very fitting, I have to say, because this is about unconditional love, and this is about the beauty within. So this is talking about all creatures great and small. This is why you can sort of see all the different sort of like animals, like the tortoise, the dragonfly, all of those sorts of things, the frog. So it's basically saying that there is a beautiful sort of like almost family of love around this. And it, you know, as I said, it could be around your family, it could be around romance, but it is enjoying that and experiencing that. So this is very, very authentic. This is very much of the heart. But it may not be, particularly with this person, if it's a new love, it may not be 100% clear yet. You may have to like peel things back to see the beauty within, because with this sort of urchin here, the concept is there's so much beauty within, and you have to take that time to be able to see that. So this fits with the energy here, like in terms of mindfulness and in terms of the Tower reversed. Give this time to grow. It's like a seed, you know, it's small to start with and it grows, but you can feel it and you can feel the beauty if you just stop and allow yourself to see it and allow yourself to believe, pile 1. Okay, let's see what your higher self, your 5D self, wants to say to you about this blessing. The time of guilt and shame ends now. Forgive yourself and begin to love yourself just as you are. I'm going to put that actually over near with authentic. So if any of this is a reconciliation, it's likely to work. Just take it time, be gentle. But beyond that, if you felt that you weren't for love because you didn't think that you loved enough in a past life, or not past life, well, it could be in a past life, or earlier in your life, or in past relationships or something like that, you just need to let that go. Your time is coming. With that 7 of Swords right at the beginning with one of the Shem angels, there is a sense that maybe you had to negotiate and bargain and make deals or whatever, you know, with the universe or with life or with friends or with colleagues or whatever, that might have impacted on your relationship sort of, you know, capacity or how you could love or when and so forth. But don't blame yourself. That was then, this is now. Just let that go. And awaken all your senses. Slow down and become aware of them. Yeah, this is the slowing down. This is the slow down on that. Enjoy this. Whatever it is, as I say, whether it is romantic love, though I think for most of you it probably is, but even if it's not romantic love, even if it's some other love, you're meant to enjoy this. Take your time with it, one step at a time. The beauty can all be unfolded from within, and you deserve it. Don't tell yourself that you didn't put enough care into things in the past or something. That the past is past. This is your time to have this. And if you were made to feel guilty in the past around something, then don't let that kind of like gaslighting, you know, impact your capacity to love now. Okay, so we're also going to call on a couple of other angels from different angelic realms to see what else, you know, can add to this blessing for you before we close out with the guidance of the stars. So you have Angel of Success. Yeah, you are meant to be successful in this. You are meant to be successful in love in this case, in something that has to do with love. Whether, as I say, whether it's new love, reconciliation, starting a family, getting your work-life balance in place so that you can spend more time with loved ones, there is success. You are meant to achieve it. That's why you have the Wheel of Fortune. You know, this is your time. And Angel of Solitude. I think this is an angel who wants you to come out of solitude, but that understands that it's a little bit tough for you. It's a little bit, you've been with that angel for a while, feeling bad or feeling that you had to focus elsewhere, but you're meant to be successful and be able to come out of it. But there is an understanding, there's a gentleness to this. I do think for most of you, you felt like, maybe you felt like you missed your chance, or you let the right one go, or something like that, or that you've been so focused on work or something that you didn't feel that, you thought you'd let that pass by. But this is a gentle lifting you out of that so that you can enjoy the success. Okay, so to finish off, we're just going to pull 3 cards that could be astrology or could be numerology. So just a kind of final message for you around this blessing. Part 1. Moon. I think this is really showing, and we had the sun before and then we have the moon. This very much shows if this is about love, a romantic love, it's a very powerful relationship. That's the alchemical marriage, the sun and the moon. So it's also like the life path with the emotional nature. It could also mean that moon cycles are important to watch for how you feel as you go through this. Aquarius. I feel this is the energy that you're in, and it's the energy that you are meant to be kind of like lifting out of in a way, because Aquarius is very much in the mind and it's very transpersonal. It's a little bit detached. I think your love has been so much for the world and for causes and for philosophies. It's time for you to get back into the love of your heart. So I think this is partly this energy. You've kind of loved for the world, but it's time for you to be loved and to accept love for yourself. And solar eclipse. So solar eclipse sort of comes up where you've sort of put others first, or where maybe you felt guilty, or you felt that your capacity for this had passed, that, that was not. But, like the solar eclipse, again, it's interesting because we have the sun and the moon. This is turning this energy. I feel like this energy here is the core that Samuel wants you to look at, wants you to understand that there was a period of time where you eclipsed your own life path and love path by thinking it was not part of your journey, that you were for the world or for philosophy or for science or something. This is to move past that energy so that you can actually almost have the sun and the moon conjunct, not eclipsing each other. So this is a blessing for you about accepting love back in your life. It's pretty simple. It's meant to come. You deserve it, and it's time to enjoy it. So I hope that resonates for you, Pile 1. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear about it. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Pile 2, to your reading. So you came to the reading with Metatron, so that may have been why you chose, or other reasons. But Metatron as an archangel is the archangel of Keter in the Kabbalah, is the archangel of the divine mind in the sense of the divine scribe. So I often see Metatron, to me, he is a archangel that is about the narrative of life, what we want to create in life, what our story is, and so forth. And it's interesting, you also have another very powerful archangel here with Michael, with the Chariot card. And so the Chariot to me is often a sign of destiny. So I feel as though this particular blessing has a level of destiny about it. It's partly about you starting to take control of and be in the driver's seat of the next stage of your life. And it's interesting because this could be about love, it could be about creativity, it could be about anything. It's got to do with identifying, pursuing and celebrating the achievement of a dearly cherished dream, because we have the 7 of Cups and the 3 of Cups here. Possibly celebrating it in collaboration with others with the 3 of Cups. But it could also just be that celebratory feeling that comes when a very long-standing, I'd say, dream has been achieved, that you or is so close to being achieved that you can see it is now part of the fabric of your life. So, if you always wanted to be a top barrister, for instance, then you are either there now or you are so close that it is coming and you can taste it. So Metatron is here, I think, to affirm to you that the pathway you have chosen with the Chariot, the choice of what your dream should be, is the one that is best aligned to you being able to celebrate its its achievement and its completion. So there's definitely a sense here of a blessing about movement in the right direction towards your life story, but also towards something that you dearly love. And so I think for each of you that might be quite different. It could be a relationship, it could be a career thing, it could be something creative, it could even be with Metatron, because he's very powerful on a spiritual level, achieving sort of the next level in your spiritual ascension, your spiritual sort of development. So it very much depends. So let's see if we can get a little bit more information from the tarot about it. Oh, actually, before I do that, let me talk to you about the angels. So Metatron, as I say, is the scribe of God. But Michael is sort of like God's greatest defender, probably one of the strongest archangels, and one that people call upon in times of sort of war or needing of strength and support. And they say of Michael, who is like God. He looks over perseverance, success in conflict, and overcoming adversity. So I think that for many of you, you've struggled a bit towards achieving whatever this dream is. Some of you might be finishing a qualification, for instance. You're just about to sort of get the graduation or something like that. There's something that you've struggled a bit. Maybe you've had to have a bit of a battle with. Michael has been with you because you have been on the right path. You are following the right narrative structure for your life. So he will help you, just as Metatron will, to have the strength and perseverance to turn anything that's still remaining to be turned out of the dream into something you could celebrate. With the Three of Cups we have, and I probably won't pronounce this correctly, Aliel, which is the right hand of God. And this looks over fame and renown, influences commerce, voyages, and great discoveries. So if any of you are wanting to be seen in the world, go into a position of status, into a position of fame, very much this is an energy, a blessing to help bring that in. And I think with Metatron, to have the right story, the right PR almost to do it. And then with the Seven of Cups with Azalea, which is God the just judge, this gives contemplation, makes the truth known in legal proceedings. So if any of you had to do something legal around this, then with Michael and Azalea, you are going to have the success that you want. But I feel like this is more like contracts. It's more like, you know, the next step in a career. It's more like a contract for getting a book published or something. There is a emotional dream attached to this as well. So let's look with tarot a little bit more detail about what this blessing is, the nature of the blessing, how will it manifest, and then we'll ask what's expected of you given this blessing has been given to you. So firstly, how is this blessing going to manifest in your life? Okay, so what this is saying, a lot of this is about the completion of something, as I say, graduating, a completion of one stage of a career to move to the next level, a completion of something creative that you take out into the world. And for some of you, it is about sort of fame, being known in the world in some way. So it's definitely got that sort of sense of you've done one cycle, you've done what's necessary, it's time to celebrate, your dreams are coming true, that kind of thing. But I think it's also taking you out of a period of time where you felt detached from your spiritual side and detached from what would make you joyful. I think that there was a hard slog. This is probably why you had, Michael, whatever this is, there was a hard slog around it. And you may sometimes have wondered, am I on the right path? The Archangel here and Metatron is saying, yes, you are, because you're about to start to reap the benefits of your hard work. But it wasn't fun. Like whatever this wasn't easy. And if this is bringing in great love, then before that, you felt really detached. You felt like you didn't find the right people. But I think for most of you, it's something to do with business, career, fame, creativity. So it's going to show you the investment for what felt like an emotional loss. So that's why we've had Michael. But it's very interesting too with Metatron. I almost feel sometimes when I see Metatron, it's like seeing a great screenwriter or something like that. And this has the feeling there's a point in the 3-act structure of a screenplay where everything appears to be lost. Everything, like the values, everything is lost. And then the aha moment comes and the win comes. And even if there's anything bittersweet in this time, there's a sort of a sense of, oh, that's what it was about. And now I'm able to achieve what I need to achieve. So I feel for many of you, you've had a bit to deal with in whatever this is, but you're about to reap the rewards. And the difficulty where you felt less connected to your spiritual side, to what made you joyful, what made you maybe feel you had to compromise, that time is shifting. You're moving into a period of growth, but you do need to detach from some emotional disappointments from there. So let's ask Metatron and the angels, what is expected of you to get to this point, I think, which is the main part of the blessing, completing that which was difficult and getting the return on investment. Okay, so one of the things that Metatron is saying is that whatever the struggle is, and why you had Michael as well, whatever the struggle is was to achieve this dream, and you are going to achieve it, it's important not to carry a sense of injustice around it. It's important to sort of realise it was part of the journey, it was part of the learning and so forth, and to not use it as a thing that makes you doubt your next steps, because there is a sense here, partly firstly with the Six of Pentacles reverse, that you could carry a sense that it wasn't fair, that you shouldn't have had to go through all that there was something that you lost to win what you win. Even though there's celebration and you're getting there could be this sort of sense of, I had to do so much on my own. But that's ceasing. Like Metatron is saying, that's ceasing. It was like a rite of passage. And so it's important to see the benefit of having learnt that. It won't happen again because you'll know who better to connect with, there is a better energy coming in. But you need to take the decision to cut off the past and to allow the new in, because you're still thinking a little bit in this mindset, in a bit of set of doubt or whatever, and you're still repressing some of your own creative energy as a result. So it very much has a feeling of something like you studied something and there was a lot of politics and studying and what marks you would get, and you're going to succeed, you're going to graduate, you're going to get great marks, but you're going to feel like, what did I have to put up with to get there, and is that what life's like, sort of thing? Or you wrote a novel and it took any number of edits to get there, and you're sort of thinking like, can I even do what I want to do next or whatever. So it's important for you to understand that you learnt from these issues and you have invested and so forth, and you're heading towards your life path, not to sort of feel like this is the only success and going to the next level is going to be even harder. You need to use this understanding of this blessing so that you can make decisions rather than repress your own creativity. And at some point you may be asked to pay it forward. So don't feel that lessons for you. It will actually do more for you. But I think you've had to struggle. I don't think many people have helped you. But I think that the Archangels are trying to say, we've been here to help you. We want you to move forward. You're going to have real growth. Remember that so that you actually help others. You don't replicate some of what you went through. So it's very interesting. I think this is for very successful people, but people who've had to struggle to get there. So what was also under Metatron at the beginning was cards from the Heart Code Oracle. So this is looking at career, relationships, wellness, and lifestyle. So we're just looking at some 3D outcomes of what this blessing is. I think the career one will be very important, but also to some degree the others, particularly relationships, because I think there's something about collaborators going forward, other people that you might help going forward, and so forth. So for career, we have respect. Yeah, you are going to command respect now. Absolutely. And it's going to be respect for what you've struggled with as well as what you're now achieving and the growth that you have. But that's important to then also show respect to the others around. And as I say, not to do what I think happened to you. I don't think you were given many helping hands, to be honest. So, but you are going to be called upon to be the bigger person, I think, going forward. In terms of relationships, searching. You might be searching for the right people at the moment. It does look like something about this detached you from, what you would have emotionally wanted. So there may be a period where you're looking for that. And this may also be why this is here, that if you kind of go at things with an idea that everything's going to continue to be like that, rather than making decisions that take you forward, you may not see the people that could bring more sunshine to your life. Around wellness, inflammation. Okay, that tends to show up if you're feeling stressed on some level. So it may be that just as you get your victory and you're celebrating, you start worrying about the next level. Some of this would be to say, ease off on yourself a bit there, give yourself time. You've got a lot in your kit bag, you're heading in the right direction, and with the Seven of Pentacles, things are going to develop like an investment anyway. But But think about that. And, physically, things like, you can get various teas that can help with inflammation and so forth. So, and like, herbal remedies, I think, and, essential oils and so forth. So, if you do actually physically have that to deal with, there are various things you can do in that regard. And then lifestyle, mirror. Yeah, don't mirror what happened to you if you were disappointed. Mirror what you would have liked to have had happen to you, what you would write as the narrative. That will bring out the sun, and that will make your lifestyle balance out, and it will continue to grow. The blessings will continue to grow. Okay, so let's have a look with a couple of decks at what spiritual blessings are coming to you as a result of Metatron's blessing to you today. Okay, so these two are very much picking up on spiritual elements, I think, around career, mastery. What I do think for most people, if you've come to the right reading, this is really about that kind of thing, mastery, achievement, and those sorts of things. Because this card is about taking the time to let things grow. You see the sort of like the hourglasses around, the sense of seeds growing, the sense of cicada waiting to transform and so forth, that kind of energy. So there's something here about allowing things to grow. And the Seven of Pentacles in how this was going to manifest is a return on investment, but it also allows for further growth. And growth with the Pentacles takes time, but it lasts. It becomes secure if you allow that to happen. And then the interesting thing is this is a card of alchemy. So it's interesting on a number of levels because alchemy is a high order spiritual practice. So for any of you that felt that what you had to do was so material, you felt detached from your spirituality, then this is showing the alchemy is coming back together for you. But it does it in a particular way. This has a bunch of bees around it, and it really is talking about community and sharing energy and collaborating. I feel that this is a blessing for you to win a dream around being a leader or something creative or a community project or something, and you're definitely stepping up and it's definitely succeeding, but it is going to be important to keep that growth going, to be able to work within a community or a network. That's why your sun is connected to being careful about decisions in relation with the Six of Pentacles reversed, to getting things out of balance. Because I just feel some of you may have been dealing with some sort of community group or work organisation that hadn't been fair, but you are now going to be in a position to influence something much better. And it's important to always think about not just the impact on you, but the impact on the group. Because spiritually, that really connects you to Metatron and to what this blessing is. Let's see what your 5D self wants to say to you. A wonderful surprise is coming. Something entirely new awaits you. So if you are going, I don't know what this is, I'm still struggling, then you're going to find out very soon. It could also be that if you've just celebrated something and you're thinking, okay, next step, something wonderful is going to come out of this that you don't even see coming. But it's meant to happen. You're meant to enjoy this. And I think one of the things might be finding the right people. I think you've been dealing with difficult people, so you've been very much struggling on your own. I think part of this is finding your right community, your right people in some way. That's why we had the Three of Cups at the beginning, this sense of finding people that are genuine friends, genuine collaborators. So really good energy is coming in for you, and your 5D self wants you to know that so that you don't second guess yourself or the people around you. And also, the time for romance has come. See, there's an opportunity for a radiant life. So maybe out of whatever this is in the new community that you form, romance is coming in. If you're already in a relationship, it might be that you finally got to the point where you've achieved certain things. You can step back a bit, be more a delegate and more sort of like a leader and have a bit more time for love in your life. Whichever it is, it's also bringing through that. And of course, that was possible right from the beginning, because we did see, the Three of Cups. That is sometimes the card of a new romance. So that could be coming in as well too for those in this group. Now what we're going to do to finish off, firstly I'm going to get you another couple of angels from other sort of celestial realms to see what other elements are at play in this blessing. And then we're going to see with an astrology and numerology deck what the sort of celestial realms have as a final message for you. So firstly, you have Angel of Stress. Okay, you have had stress, and that makes sense. And there is possibility the next steps up could have its own stresses. This is why finding your people and getting your networks and so forth is so important. Don't take everything on yourself. But if inflammation is around stress, this angel will help you sort of get over that and to be able to step back and take the time to let things grow. And Angel of Adventure, having fun, and it could be a romantic adventure for some of you, but certainly it's time now to sort of make the decisions that take yourself forward and you have a bit of fun with this, like the hard slog is done. I think that's what it's saying, and lots of really lovely things can come in, but you've got to recognize them, not just replicate and expect the same thing to come back as the struggles that you've had before. Okay, so to finish off, we're just going to get 3 cards that could be astrology or numerology as final messages for you. Cardinal signs initiate. So yes, you are meant to initiate and to initiate the next stage and so forth. You are a leader. You are meant to be a leader. And if romance is coming in, you might be the one who needs to ask the person out with that card coming up. Solar eclipse. That's interesting. It came up in another of the readings, which interestingly had Metatron as one of the Shem angels. So there could be a number of you that have come to both. And it is a card where we can get eclipsed, we can stop our life path or whatever. I do think this is suggesting here you just need to be aware of what are the expectations you almost have because of the hard slog, because you're coming out of this. This solar eclipse is shifting. You're about to sort of really come into your own sunshine, but it's important not to carry that kind of darker energy with you. And because you narrate your life far more than you think. And South Node, North Node, you're heading in the right direction for your life path, definitely. Letting the past that didn't work for you, the South Node, go away, move towards your North Node. And your North Node in your chart, the sign that it's in and the house it's in, tells you a lot about what it is that you truly desire. So if that 7 of Cups at the beginning was like, okay, I've achieved certain things, I don't even know what I want next. If you know what your chart is and you know where the North Node is, maybe ever think about that, because we naturally gravitate towards that, something that we want to achieve. And this is suggesting some really wonderful surprises and opportunities could be coming in for you to achieve that. So I hope you enjoyed that reading, Pile 2. I hope that it resonated for you. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear about it. But otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Pile 3, to your reading. So you were drawn to Melchizedek, and these are the 3 Shem angels from the Angel Tarot as well. That gives us a little bit more information about what the blessing might be. I think the key blessing for this group is about spiritual ascension, spiritual development. Melchizedek is seen as like the grandfather of the Archangels, and he is a direct portal to a sort of ascension, spiritual development and so forth, the higher order chakras in the body, all of that kind of thing. And I feel that for the people here, he brings a blessing to free you from kind of intellectual critiques that you have about your own capacities and your own belief in yourself, and even old emotional patterns that held you back from the heart. I think he's here to connect you more to your heart, sort of on a mystical level, so ascension through mystical paths in one form or another. So what I'm talking about there is things like Sufism or sort of Christian mysticism or Gnosticism, and it doesn't have to be any particular creed, but that concept that the divine is reached through the heart with the Ace of Cups here, I think that is a connection directly that Melchizedek is bringing to you as a blessing. And it is to liberate you a bit from the mental processes of things with the Queen of Swords. I feel like for many of you, you've had a lot of downloads, a lot of stuff spiritually that was very mental, that was very philosophical, ideas, structures, frameworks, and you're very, very good at that. But it's almost been a way to avoid looking at heart issues. You've kind of focused in on the mind. And I say that very carefully, given that I'm someone who focuses in a lot on the mind, so I know this sort of energy. But it feels like with the 8 of Cups here that part of the blessing is to move out of that almost protective cycle of the mind that is trying to protect you from looking at and releasing emotional issues that didn't work, that connect you back to your heart. Now, for some of you, it may be to bring in love. That's possible. But I think for others, there's something very deeply spiritual about this. The actual angels beyond Melchizedek involved here for the Ace of Cups is Nitael, and that is God, the King of Heaven. and it covers rejuvenation, obtains the mercy of God, and gives long life. So if there has been a point where with the Queen of Swords here, you felt that you strayed from the path spiritually, or that you were in a very critical sort of environment and that you kind of imbued some of that, or that you were so much in their head that maybe you were seen as harsh or difficult or a bit cold to people, this brings rejuvenation of that energy for you. Then the Queen of Swords has Hamaya, I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly, God, the hope of all earth. And she watches over ritual and ceremony, can acquire all of the treasures of heaven and earth. So you certainly have a lot of strength because of your mind, and she is there to keep that under regulation and to make sure that you can achieve things. But I think that with Nithael here and Melchizedek, it's getting it more into balance, because with the Eight of Cups with EAL, God, the pleasure of man's children, transformation gives consolation in adversity. There was something that hurt you, and that I think you went into your mind, and that was your protection. And it was a very strong protection, and your mind is very powerful, you're very clever, you're very clear on all of that sort of thing. But the blessing here is to reconnect you with your heart, not to still the mind, but to just bring it under some balance with the heart, so that you aren't protecting some pain. So I think the main sort of blessing is letting go of some old pain to let in new emotional energy. And on a mystical level, it is to navigate between the concept of the mind connecting to the divine and the heart connecting to the divine. So I think, and I think you've done more around, I read the sort of the philosophies, and I understand the frameworks, and I study this, all of this, but this is actually to get you to experience it more if you resonate to it being about a spiritual blessing. So let's ask a little bit more detail with tarot about how this blessing is going to manifest. And we're going to ask what's expected of you, because when blessings come from archangels, there's a kind of a quid pro quo, sort of like we expect it to do something with it. So a little bit more firstly for pile 3 on what the nature of the blessing from Melchizedek is. That's interesting. Ace of Cups reversed, and we have the Ace of Cups there. Okay, this is very much about getting you back in touch with your heart. You've lived very much in your mind, and it's boxed you in with the Eight of Swords. So, always with the Eight of Swords, there's always a way out, but we've kind of convinced ourselves there isn't. And I think it's partly because you've seen the mind as being more reliable than worrying about the heart. If you worry about the heart, then it may be that you're somehow tricked or something. You kind of like you want to be clear. Sorry, I'm just bringing the light down a bit so that it doesn't blur the cards. So I think this is about breaking free from the mental constraints. You're too pragmatic now. This is what's happened. To protect your heart, spiritually or in relationships, whatever it is, you've just gone, I can be really pragmatic. I will only use my emotions when they suit me. And as a result, you've been quite alone, I think. And Melchizedek and the other angels here want you to come out of that sense of being alone and being in connection with others, or in connection with the divine. You might almost have been at war with God too on some level. If there's something about reconnecting that, because you are suppressing this beautiful heart energy that you have, and victory could be yours with the Six of Wands here, and recognition for everything if you just open your heart again. So if it's spiritual, you are thinking too much and not feeling enough. And it's always about balance, because sometimes people can feel so much but they don't have the structure and function, but you do have that, but it's become a bit of a prison for you. This is about opening the heart again. Melchizedek is saying that will bring you in the victory in whatever this is for yourself, and it will bring you the right people around you. But it's sort of like, while you sit and you're a little bit of a cynic, because that's kind of the energy with that, you're actually blocking your own transformation and your own growth. So let's ask what's being asked of you by this message and this blessing being brought to you. You're being asked to move from very quickly repressing your heart to having a real sense about what it is that you want. So because At the moment, this is like the Nine of Cups being reversed. At the moment, you're not doing that. And as a result, what could be joy is flooding out of you. And while you stay a hermit, you're not going to get it. This is interesting too, because if this is about spirituality for you, and some of you it will be, it is saying the path is through the heart. It's not just through the contemplation. It's not through meditation or any of those things. You could connect your heart that way, but if you're not connecting your heart chakra to the divine through love, that kind of thing, then you're actually shutting off your own connection rather than doing it. So it feels almost like if you're spiritual, you're a bit too ascetic. You need to be sort of more emotional. If this is about happiness more generally and being seen and recognized, you need to sort of come out into the world a bit more. Some of you need to leave a relationship or leave old relationship patterns, because that's what's kind of forced you into feeling alone. So you're being asked to really consider, and really consider your choices and the attitude you have between being alone or being with other people, because you're not making yourself happy. You're again tying yourself up. The Eight of Wands reversed is like the Eight of Swords upright. It's really, Melchizedek just wants you to have an aha moment using that really brilliant mind that you have, because at the moment it's not working for you, and you're not getting reciprocal energy either. It's all on your own. You're too on your own. So if you are doing a very monk-like type of spirituality, it's possibly not the right way to do it. If you are eschewing all relationships because you feel that only you can really navigate your life, then you're cutting out joy. So Melchizedek wants you to open your heart spiritually and more generally and really consider this, because there is an opportunity for the right connections, recognition, all of those things. But your mind, that Queen of Swords, it protects you, but it also binds you up. So this is a message. It's like Melchizedek knocking on your door. That's the blessing, getting you to see something. So let's have a look what this means in a 3D level. So under Melchizedek and the other Shem Angel cards, there are also cards from the Heart Code Oracle. So career, relationship, wellness, and lifestyle. So around career, we have purpose. Okay, so if you have felt a bit lost in your career, you maybe need to reconnect your heart to find your purpose. You might be very, very clever and very able to win everything, but it's kind of almost like you're always on your own and you're not enjoying it. So just getting back to a purpose that's closer to your heart would be helpful for you. In relationships, that then opens up a chance. There's definitely an opportunity here for better relationships, for not feeling so alone, for having a different sort of aspect to and view of relationships. There's definitely that opportunity coming in for you if you allow it to come in. This is part of the blessing. For wellness, hydrate. Okay, you're probably overdoing it on some level with hydrate. That always suggests, you're exercising too much, you're working too hard, but certainly think about that. And water is emotion too. So let emotion in as well. Hydrate your soul as well as your body. And lifestyle, flow, and then there's the water again. This is all about something. You're very much in your mind. It's very much, the sort of scientific or the intellectual or the academic, or the sort of like, I will control things by my thoughts and the frameworks and systems and so forth, all of which serve you very well, but it's cutting out the flow. It's sort of drying you out. It's not connecting you to your purpose, and it's maybe cutting out the opportunities. So this is just saying all you have to do is reconnect back to your heart. That's all you have to do. So let's see what spiritual advice around this you can get from a couple of decks. If that's the 3D advice, what's the sort of spiritual advice? Because I do think for many of you this is very spiritual, actually. Action follows faith. Okay. Oh, look at that. So this is really pretty self-evident, that you have to get back into your heart and into your faith, not just into the evidence. So for any of you that have been doubting your spiritual pathways, your spiritual abilities, your love, whatever it might be, action follows faith. You need to get back in faith with this. So this blessing is truly yours, that you only have to open up your heart. It's very interesting that we have the heart in this hand. This hand talks about your seal, your honor, who you truly are. So I think that with that Queen of Swords, you're incredibly honorable. You're incredibly sort of righteous in the positive sense. you would not hurt people deliberately. You're very well regulated, and you take this very seriously. Honor is very important to you, but you also need to get to the heart. And this card also talks about healing. So if any of you feel called to being healers, then you might have the kind of the structure and the learning and the academics down pat, but it's sort of like getting back to your heart, because the heart is going to be the hand connecting and healing in that kind of energetic way as well. So there's that element for you. Let's see what your 5D self would like to say to you. Release your creative energies. So again, action follows faith. It may be that this is saying that maybe the first steps to getting back to your heart is doing something creative that you would really love. And it almost, and freeing it from the bounds of, like, don't start editing. If you're writing a novel, don't start editing it with the Queen of Swords the instant that you do it. Like, allow the creativity to flow, allow action to start to sort of reconnect you. So creativity may be a way to release this energy. And then success and happiness are coming. Enjoy and celebrate life. So yeah, the Ace of Cups wants to be there for you, wants to open up all those opportunities for you. You just have to let it happen. You have to believe it. Faith, have faith in it. I'd say you have been hurt before and you're protecting your heart, and we all get hurt, so it's perfectly understandable. But Melchizedek is saying it's ready. Whatever it is that you are protecting, as I say, spiritual development, a new love, or something in your career, or whatever it is, just getting into that creative energy and knowing and having faith that success and happiness are coming, that's going to bring that energy in for you. Let's get a couple of other angels from the celestial realms just to see what other aspects and blessings are connected to this blessing of Melchizedek for you, pile 3. Angel of balance. Yeah, it is all about balance. You have both. You have the beautiful heart. You definitely do. You've just been protecting it with the amazing mind. So it's just time to own the heart part as well, and this angel will help you with that. And angel of clarity. You're not going to lose that sharp mind. You'll always be clear. But you're cutting off one form of information. And the Queen of Swords should understand that. The Queen of Swords, you should be able to bargain with your internal Queen of Swords to say, I won't be clear unless I'm also connecting with my heart. There are different forms of information that I can get. So that will help with your clarity, actually, if you get things more into balance. Okay, pile 3. So we're just going to finish with 3 cards from a deck that looks at astrology and numerology for any other last messages around this blessing for you. Kind of like the colouring is very similar to Melchizedek. I think that's what Melchizedek's trying to bring you, and probably very much through your crown chakra or third eye chakra. Pay attention to signs, dreams, senses of telepathy around you, all of those sorts of things. Okay, astrology or numerology energy for you. We have sextile, so we will have a look at the planets for that, but it's saying things are going to be more in harmony and more in balance than you expect. We have Venus. Yeah, love, the heart. It's interesting. All of the readings today have had an aspect of love. I think all of them could bring in the blessing of a new love or a renewed love or a better balance where you can love more and be loved more. But there's certainly, your heart, your creativity, your sense of beauty is part of this. And 6, the connection with other people, community and so forth. So if you've been alone, you're not meant to be alone. Let's have a look at what planets are sextile. So I'm just going to deal out till I get planets. It can take a little while because there's a lot of cards. Jupiter, oh, that's beautiful. So there's definite luck around this for you, an expansion for you. Jupiter and the moon. Yeah, definitely your emotional side. Luck will come from expanding and connecting, expanding your sense of the heart, of the moon, of your psychic ability. You're very psychic. I mean, you have to be if you have Melchizedek there. And if any of you are here about spiritual development, you're meant to really expand and grow and ascend. That's what Melchizedek's talking about. But your heart and your intuitive ability, married with your great mind, is the way to do it. It's just a blessing about bringing that into balance so that, and maybe have it creatively come out so that you can see the success of that. It will connect you with other people. It could connect you with love, but it's certainly going to expand your sort of psychic and spiritual ascension ability. So I hope that that resonates for you, Pile 3. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like and subscribe. And if you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear about it. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings.